Hi, this is Naroki5. I am going to be doing this until I die or I find something better to do. So please help me achieve this personal and, I think, noble objective by contributing to my Patreon or Subscribe Star. Link is down below. Every little bit helps. Thank you very much.
Hey there, this is Naroki5. In case you didn't get that in the early announcements, I'm gonna answer a question, and it's a legitimate question that I think a legitimate point needs to be made, because I've been running into this quite frequently on MGTOW sites over the past few days. Because we've now got a large enough segment of men in MGTOW, probably 5 figures worth have completed the Red Pill Rage, and have come out the other side and have gotten the things that MGTOW pretty much promised them. It's not a huge segment of the population, but it's like, yeah, you need to understand that the population of MGTOW has been pretty much doubling every year since its inception. Now, the big issue here is, and this is a legitimate point. Why do you go after guys like Bulldog Mindset and Wounded Viking and MGTOW Exposed? Although I think MGTOW Exposed is a fucking idiot. Or these other individuals that spend time and energy attacking MGTOW. Not doing a particularly good job of it, but they're attacking MGTOW. For a guy like me, for instance, honestly, these individuals, their arguments are not going to sway me, for instance, to make me, quote unquote, realize the error of my ways and go back to the plantation. Like, I've completed the Red Pill Rage. Like, I'm on the other side. I am post-Rage MGTOW at this point. We're not the majority, first of all. And I've said this before. I can't remember which particular video I said this on. Maybe it's still sitting on my hard drive. It is up to the individuals that have gone. Again, it's your call, but it's to a certain degree, I feel it's my particular part of this, is to set up a space so that the men that are going to be following in the path of the men that are coming after me, that those men have that space in that time and that ability to vent, which is really, really important for a man, specifically going through the early parts of the Red Pill Rage. This is a really important part of the process. These men need to know that when they're going through this process, that they're not going to have some bully coming in and trying to shame them or intimidate them or humiliate them or poke fun at some physical abnormality or whatever. Basically, these men need to know that they're not going to receive ridicule for doing what they're doing. The guys that are saying, well, you know what, I'm happy. What does it matter if these assholes are saying stuff? Those guys are right. Those guys are absolutely right. The only thing is, though, is they're right, and a lot of people tend to forget that once upon a time, they were new to MGTOW. They had to go through this process. They, to a huge degree, almost any man that has gone through the Red Pill Rage up till probably this year has been able to do it with the luxury of some anonymity. All right? There's not going to be that same degree of anonymity available in the next few months and years. They are going to come for us. Full out. They cannot afford to allow individuals like us out there who might be able to foment a counter push. They can't allow us the time and the space that we're going to require to do that. So these men that are coming up afterwards, and these bullies, for instance, I mean, I've done a takedown, for instance, of Mike Fallick and his bullshit, and of Wounded Viking. And I haven't done Bulldog Mindset. I may or may not do Bulldog Mindset. But I mean, the reason why I do this isn't because these guys personally affect my well-being. They don't. The people coming after me need to know that that space is there for them. They need to know that there's not going to be some bully that's going to come out into the field, start throwing their weight around, and there's not going to be any consequences. In fact, you're seeing the consequences of that happen in real time. What happens to a society when people look the other way? When violence is occurring. You're seeing that in a lot of the Democrat hell-controlled cities in the U.S. right now. That's what you're going to get. Men are going to leave MGTOW. They're not going to complete the reach. They're going to go somewhere else, and something else will form. If you just simply allow these people to walk in and do what they're going to do and let them go unchallenged, these guys that have just discovered MGTOW, they're not going to stick around. I mean, it's not a safe space. They're going to go somewhere else, and that somewhere else might not be as culturally and politically nonpartisan as MGTOW currently is. It might not be this amorphous thing. It might be something more targeted that may not necessarily have their best interest or the best interest of society in mind. So, yes, to a great degree, the guys who say this are right. It's not gonna affect them, but I mean, that space needs to be there. And also, you're not being triggered or butt hurt by throwing a line down and saying no fucking more. These people are a challenge to the boundaries set down. Now, by no means am I a guy who's going to go out there and start waving the MGTOW flag around and whatever. But I mean, there has to be, not just for the protection of guys in MGTOW, but for the people that are going to attempt to take runs at MGTOW, these guys need to know that there's going to be consequences for doing it. The scalpels are going to come out. We're going to tear the living fuck out of them if they try to come in. If they're going to start throwing their weight around, if they're going to start throwing punches, they're going to get hit back. You are not a butthurt fool. Get the fuck out of your space. You're not. That's something that I think a lot of the MGTOW that are coming up, going through the Red Pill Rage process right now are going to have to learn. They're going to have to learn the values of establishing boundaries, the values of, while not necessarily turning into the alpha fucktard, about being the honorable man, about having fucking boundaries and beliefs and engaging in actions that reflect that belief and holding the line again for themselves and for the people potentially around them, if they're that type of a person, against individuals like Wounded Viking, like Bulldog Mindset, like #.cult, like a few others. These people have to know that there's consequences. Just remember that, because this is something that's going to happen more and more frequently. The people coming up, again, they don't have the luxury of anonymity anymore. This is Naroki5. Like, subscribe, and I will talk to you later.